Hi, I'm Shane. I use they, them pronouns, and this is, I think, session number 5 of our Urban Shadows game. We're going to, missed last week. Sorry about that. Thanks to the players for accommodating. One of our regular players, David, couldn't be here this week, and another, Stephen, is running late. But surely Vicente and Regis can get into enough trouble by themselves that we won't have a problem. We organise this game through the Open Hearth Gaming calendar, so if you are interested in finding out more or playing with us, check out openhearthgaming.com. I guess I'll just ask the players to introduce themselves and their. Zeke, do you want to go first?
Sure thing. I'm Zeke. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing as Regis, who also uses he, him pronouns, who's a veteran, a former burnt out wizard who is in deep with the Fae right now.
Nice. And,
Are you frozen?
Sorry, I'm having some big internet connection problems right now. I might just switch to a different network. Bear with me for a sec.
Sure.
How have you been, Ethan?
Sorry, I just need to go and check the password. I'll be right back.
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm good, thanks.
I have not facilitated a game on the Open Hearth in way too long. The problem is it takes so much planning ahead because you want to post a game at least a month ahead, and it's not that I'm not good at planning ahead, it's that I don't want to put something on the calendar and for a game I haven't read or played, because even though I'm interested in it, because I know myself.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I read a lot of games that I never play or run. Right now I'm interested in Urban Shadows, The Wild Sea, and Blades in the Dark.
Cool. I am not good at GMing Blades in the Dark. The whole system, I don't know why. It seems very straightforward when I'm reading it, and yet I always have trouble running it.
You got to figure out a lot of stuff. You got to figure out how long the clock's going to be. You got to figure out position. It does seem like it would be complicated to run.
You're right. There's a lot to figure out with every dice roll, and I tend to not want to take too long, discussing it before they actually get to roll the dice. So I rush it and forget things like positioning.
Yeah, it says in the handbook, though, that you don't have to worry about anything other than the D6s if you don't want to.
That's true. I mean, you can go with the default. Which is I guess that's fine if the players are familiar with the system and know that they can, switch out position for, is it an extra die? I don't remember which.
Hopefully this is going to work better. We'll see. Thanks for bearing with me.
Well, you haven't frozen yet. So.
Touching wood. All right. Sorry, I totally lost my flow. So I think that you'd both just introduced yourselves. Is that right?
I don't think Ethan got a chance.
I didn't.
Okay. Thank you. Please.
So, hi, I'm Ethan. They, them pronouns. I am playing Vicente, the Fae, who is tangentially one of the Fae that Regis is somehow tangled up with. And he is trying to avoid / deal with slash backstab his enemy, the Fae who's actually a threat.
Yeah, that didn't go so well, or at least not so far. But we'll
No,
find out more about
it's mostly turned out badly so far.
that. So some time has passed since our last session, both in and out of game. And there are some development that. Sorry, I froze again, didn't I?
We got bits and pieces.
Yeah, like a word and then a pause and then a word.
Are you hearing enough of what I'm saying that we can play like this, or is it a problem?
I think we can keep trying. I think it might end up being a problem, but
okay. we'll see how we go.
We keep going. See what happens.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm trying to think of how much I can cut out to try and get to the juice. So we'll find out about the propitious order when Maximus gets here. But relevant to both of your interests, things have been going badly for Eva. So
that's what we like to hear.
There's been some sort of drug war between Eva. So Eva has been involved in some sort of drug war with a rival acid ring for control of drug trade. Eva seems to have gotten the worst of it. Lots of his armed goons have either been killed or arrested, and his operation has been greatly reduced in firepower. And there's talk of a police task force investigating. Things are looking pretty bad for Eva, at least in the mortal world. I think that's the main sort of news that's on the street. You've definitely heard there's trouble for the propitious order as well, but again, we'll leave that for Maximus. So, Regis, I have to apologize. Just before we started, I rewatched the end of the last session, and realized I said I would message you between sessions, which obviously I never did.
That's all right.
But you, Regis, wanted to have some protection against the Fae, some wards, some cold eye, and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And what we got from your city move was that a rival can help you with this, but wants a favor or gift and a debt before they hand it over.
Yeah.
So I would like you to tell me, Regis, about this rival. Who is the most annoying person who you would never want to go to ask for a favor?
I think it's someone who is just does not understand that there needs to be like a balance of power between the different people. They're like all mortalis all the time. They're like just they don't respect the balance. They take out who they can take out rather than who they should to keep it all balanced out so that there isn't another cataclysm. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a name.
That's awesome. Sorry, I missed the start of that. Yeah, great.
Okay. I'll probably take a name from the Hunter playbook because that's. Let's do Marcus.
Okay, Marcus. And what makes you think Marcus would be able to help you with something like this?
They just really love killing creatures that they think threaten humanity. And so they're like crazy prepared. If they have, they have like in their truck, whatever they need. If they're fighting a vampire, they have silver bullet rounds. If they're fighting, ghosts, they have holy water, or vampires, holy water, ghosts, salt ring. Like they know what they're doing when they have to take people out, which they do with unfortunate frequency.
Okay. So are you gonna go to this guy like or what's your plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to this guy because Ivar basically said, "I'm gonna get the Winter Queen to kill you if you don't agree to my deal." So, um, yeah, I need to be at least be able to sleep without dying. So, also, I'd love to keep him out of my dreams. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go to Marcus.
Okay. Where do you find him? Are you going
Uh,
to his house? Are you meeting at a Mortalis bar? Where do you go?
um, I think he's paranoid and stays on the move, so I think I have to go to like a drop location for him. So like I go to the park and then I put in like a manila envelope with a document why I need his help and what I'm offering. And then the next day he gets to me by like calling me on a payphone.
Okay. Um, so you're gonna have a meeting on a park bench or something like that?
Yeah.
All right. We'll come back to that. Vicente, what we got from your role last week is that you were trying to get Ivar in some trouble, basically, but uh, he sort of he figures out that it's you and catches you while you're in a vulnerable. So,
Okay.
what are you doing when he catches you? What is the vulnerable spot?
Hmm. Uh, Waking up in the park after passing out drunk the night before. That's about as vulnerable as you get.
Uh-huh. So I think you wake up in the park, um, and as you like try to force your eyes open, well, wait,
Sorry, we can't
let me
understand you
think
right
this
now.
through. Um, you- yeah, thank you. So you're waking up in the park. It's not quite daylight yet, and you have there's a person holding you down. Like there's someone sitting on your chest as you wake up. And you can tell even before you manage to force your eyes open, just from the coldness of their flesh under their clothes, that they're not alive. And I think you've probably talked to Kathy enough to recognize that this is the vampire Cleopatra who's been working with Eva and causing some problems for Kathy and others. What do you do?
Let me see what I can do. I think I have something I can do, right? Um, let me see if I have to roll for this. No, I just have to choose whether to suffer harm or corruption or give my monarch a debt. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would like to turn into a medium-sized animal.
Oh, nice. Is that something that you can just do, or do you have to roll for it?
That is something I can just do, although I have to take harm or mark corruption. And how's my corruption? Oh, I'll mark corruption for that one. Yeah. What is a medium-sized
What are
animal?
you
It's just
turning into?
examples here. What is a ridiculous animal to turn into here? I could go like. I'm going to turn into, let's see, what the idea is to get away. So there are hilarious animals I could turn into. That would be a terrible idea.
You could do a honey badger or a badger or
That's what I was thinking. Something along those lines. Something. There we go. Something fast. I think a jackrabbit would be excellent.
Jackrabbit. All right. So mark corruption for that. I assume that you now just plan to like scamper away.
Yes.
All right. Well, in that case, I think you do have to roll to escape a situation.
Fair.
Because otherwise, she's just going to grab the rabbit.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So that is rolling with blood. You're taking advantage of an opening to escape a situation.
Cool. It's my blood. I don't think it's good. Yes, it's bad. But that's an 8.
On a hit, you get away and choose one, and on a 7 to 9, the MC chooses one as well. I think that one of your moves gives you an extra option here. Yeah, you also have draw back the curtain, which lets you add the option you escape to your homeland for better or worse.
You know what? I haven't done that. And, I like to try to use all of my moves at some point, so I will absolutely escape to my homeland. For worse, right. I assume.
And then I have to choose. I have to choose one as well, and one of my options is you end up in another dangerous situation, which is pretty tempting right now.
Fair. I am a jackrabbit suddenly in the Fae world. I can't imagine what could possibly go wrong there.
All right. Well, I think we'll come back and find out what happens to you in the Fae world momentarily. Regis, Marcus is waiting for you in the park. He has his, duffel coat collars turned up around his head. He's looking around a bit paranoidically, and he doesn't smell like he's showered recently. And he's not going to let you do this easily. He says, well, Regis, look who's come crawling for help.
Yep. I think I might have been too harsh on our last meeting.
Well, I would say so, yes.
Yeah. I guess sometimes you do need a bit of prevention or a little bit of bang to back up your position. I think my freewheeling ways might have been a bit too lenient.
Well, he's drawing himself up to his full height now. He's just eating this up. So it's help you want?
Yeah. I've been having a little bit of fairy trouble. The good folk, the little cousins, all that. I don't have someone to watch my back currently, and so I figure the next best thing is to make sure they can't get in. And I know that your stronghouse, wherever it is impenetrable, and so I was hoping for some supplies, some advice on how to keep out some of the more nasty varieties of Fae.
You would owe me, and there's something you could do for me. He looks strangely nervous, like he was so full of himself a moment ago, but as he starts to talk about what you can do for him, there's a note of vulnerability in his voice. We established in the first week that you used to be in a relationship with Sorry, I'm trying to pause when I can see that the screen is frozen.
Yeah, we used to be in a relationship with
Sophia. He wants you to set him up on a date with Sophie.
Oh. Um, you're killing me, Marcus. Um, I
But doesn't she
yeah,
deserve to be happy?
she does.
Well,
She does. Um, I mean, this is probably gonna screw me over, but part of the reason we broke up is that I'm not a wizard anymore. Um, and you aren't a wizard, so I don't know if you'll match all that well.
maybe there are other personal qualities that were lacking.
You
Maybe
know what? You're probably right. I was
someone who could
probably
protect
just
it.
yeah, you can. Okay. Um, yeah, I'll get in contact with my ex-wife and talk you up.
Great. Well, you can call this number and leave a message with the details, and I'll deliver, as promised, the wards that you need.
Thank you very much, Regis. I hope you have a pleasant time.
All right. So I'm going to go back to Vicente, but are you going to do what you said you'll do? Are you going to try and convince Sophie that she should go on a date with the most unpleasant member of Mortalis?
I um I will meet up with her, and I think I'll say I tried, but I don't. I might say as like a joke, you know, Marcus was asking about you. Isn't that wild? What a freak. Um, but I
All
don't
right.
think I'm actually going to try and set up my ex-wife with this
All right.
paranoid asshole.
Well, I am keen to see that scene play out, so we'll come back for that. And just think about if there's anything else that you want to be doing as well. Um, Vicente, I'm sorry to say that you have emerged in Fairyland in another dangerous situation. In fact, just as you scurried across the boundary between worlds, a troll managed to get a good grip on your ears, and is carrying you along behind his back. Um, Obviously with the intention to skin and eat you once he gets back to his camp, and sort of muttering to himself trollishly, "Rabbit for dinner." What do you do?
Um, hey, troll.
Rabbit talk.
Yeah, I talk. If you let me go, I'll grant you wishes. Haven't you ever heard of talking rabbits for good luck?
Could wish for more rabbit.
Yeah, if you let me go, you'll have
I mean, I guess you're
5
trying to
more
say.
rabbits, and if you let them go, you'll have like 5 more rabbits. It's what's called an exponential increase in rabbits.
Rabbit use big words.
Hey, rabbits are smart.
Troll smart.
Yeah, see, we have something in common.
All right, let's roll to see how well he takes to this. Rolling with mind to mislead, distract, or trick.
What's my mind? It's. I don't think it makes a difference, but mind is 0. Cool. 7.
On a 7 to 9, pick 2.
Cool. I have not tried to do this before, so I have to actually look at the.
The choices are create an opportunity, expose a weakness or flaw, confuse them for some time, or avoid further entanglement.
I would like to create an opportunity for me to get away.
Yes.
Oh, what the hell? It's always handy to learn a weakness or flaw.
Yeah, what trolls' weaknesses or flaws? In D&D, they're vulnerable to fire, right? I don't know.
Yeah, in Scandinavian mythology, they turn to stone and sunlight.
Weakness or flaw, I think. His weakness or flaw is that he's having marital problems.
Okay.
In fact, he tells you about this in some detail now that you're talking about how his husband is being really, not communicating well, not like it used to be.
I will absolutely give him marital advice.
What marital advice will this end take the troll?
I mean, it's got to be like, well, you got to spice things up. People get bored after a long time together. Things get old. You got to remind him of what he saw in you to begin with. And this is like totally a mix of just stuff that I've heard from like random, advice columns and listening to people talk. This is nothing. Yeah, I don't think that Vicente has ever been in a long-term relationship in his life. He's been in a whole lot of short-term ones, and so like this is not personal experience advice, but it's okay-ish advice.
All right. Rabbit is smart. All right. Well, he will put you down gently on the ground and say, now, what's his name? Og wishes for more rabbits, and looks at you expectantly.
And I run.
I don't want to make you roll to escape a situation again. You just did that. So I think that you created an opportunity. Og is confused. Thinks maybe you're going to get the extra rabbits, but just lets you go.
Okay.
Are you running somewhere else in Fairyland, or are you returning to the mortal world, or what's happening?
I am blindly running away from the troll.
Fair.
With zero concern as to where I'm running to.
All right. Well, I think at some point you're going to realize that you've run almost all the way to the Winter Court, and I'll come back to you in a minute and see what you decide to do once you get there, or before you get there. Regis, so Sophie, sorry, should we have a scene with Sophie, or is there other things that you want to do first?
I think I can't really do much until I can make sure Ivar doesn't get into my head while I'm planning. So I think I have to go see Sophie first.
All right. So I imagine you're having like a nice lunch at a somewhat fancy dinner. Sophie's doing quite well for herself.
That's great.
Doesn't hesitate to remind you to wear a tie. And yeah, has turned up looking very well turned out. It seems like she's made a bit of an effort. I don't remember how much we talked about this, but what's your relationship like with Sophie at this point? Are you friendly, distant, not really in contact?
Friendly but distant. We don't talk much, but when we do, we are cordial, and we can mention the good times without getting into a fight about it.
Okay. Yeah, so there's been an exchange of small talk. It's been pleasant, but it's sort of come to the point in the conversation where you need to turn it towards whatever you need to turn it towards.
Yeah, so I think that Regis will bring up the Winter Queen to like sort of prime the pump that he's in danger, and talk about how how he's been trying to stay away from trouble, but it just seems to find him. And lately, there's been this new Fae, Ivar, who's been threatening him. And essentially, he's trying to get her to offer to help.
um, well, okay. I think she will do so in the most long-suffering way possible. She'll eventually, figure out going with this, and say, "Well, is there something that you need?"
Um, I remember that you were always quite good with abjuration and um, forestalling magic, and so I didn't know if maybe you would be able to, take a walk around my house and lay down some wards or something.
Well, I mean, you're quite capable of warding your own house. You could do anything that I could do.
Not anymore.
You're not helpless. I know you maintain a workshop of some power.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have the supplies for that right now. Um, I'm doing a project for the order right now, and that's been taking up a lot of my time and materials.
I think she'll be interested in that. She's engaged in questions about magical power, and hearing that you're working with the Order will, get her attention.
Yeah, yeah. It was a phase specific project, and so like all my materials, my cold iron, um, my hair of the seventh born child of a seventh born child, all that I got taken away. Is in use currently. So I mean, I think I either have to take apart the project from for the order, or you know, just be without protection from this creep Evar. Um,
Okay, so it seems like maybe you're hitting the streets. Like hitting the streets doesn't, having a nice dinner with your ex doesn't exactly sound like the phrase "hit the streets," but you're trying to get what you need.
yeah.
So you can roll with her circle, which is power.
All right. And Regis feels really bad about himself because he's being a real jerk and being real manipulative, but he doesn't want to die. Um, So he got, let me see, I roll with her circle. Regis, power is +1. Uh, or is it my status in the circle, or is it the, like my knowledge of the circle?
God, I wish Stephen was here to answer these questions. It is. It's your like score with the circle, right? You're
Okay, my score with the circle. Then I got a 10.
nice. All right. I guess she really does still like you. So what do you get on uh, and have the staff? Okay, but I mean that just means that she can lay the wards down. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to. So
Yeah.
it's going to take a persuade roll uh, to
Okay.
convince her to actually do it.
So persuade an NPC.
Yeah.
Okay. So I roll with my heart, which is +1. Oh, yep. Nope. That's a 6. She remembers how annoying Regis is.
All right. Well, we'll come back and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
So Vicente, at the threshold of the Winter Court, what are you doing?
Well, while I'm here, I did agree to try to find a neutral witness for when Regis confronts Ivar. Let's see if there is a move to this.
I mean, if you're trying to get what you need, it might be hit the streets again.
I think it is, yeah. I mean, I definitely know people here who would like be willing to do that, I'm sure. or maybe I think I do and I don't really.
Yeah, we'll see. So who are you going to?
That's a good random name. I may do the same. Fiona, who is an old friend, I think.
Okay. And what I mean, I don't think this really is a hit the streets, because you're saying that you just want to witness, right? So it's more like
Yes.
it's not a thing that she has or doesn't have. So I guess
Yeah.
you're just persuade her first.
Sorry, you froze. Yeah, I just need somebody who is seen as, fairly trustworthy, to be a witness for this.
Okay. So yeah, where do you meet? I mean, I guess I'm interested in what the Winter Court actually looks like. Are we imagining
That's
it's
a
a
very
huge
good question.
palace? Is it a city? Like, what is the Winter Court? You're the Fae, so I'm just going to let you decide.
Well, I described it as savage and unruly in this, so I think there is a palace, but it's like there's a chaotic element to it. It's not. It clearly was built in many different stages and with many different styles of architecture. Like nobody bothered to, when they added something onto it, they didn't make it blend in with what was already there. They just went with what they thought would look cool at that time. So it looks almost like if you took like a city block of a city that's been around for a while and has a lot of different types of architecture and just like mashed it together.
Nice. So I imagine in this savage and unruly court, there's some sort of awful, or something horrible like that. And I think that Fiona will be there. So you are sitting in the stands watching pixies tear each other limb from limb, and Fiona. I assume you've chosen someone that you're reasonably friendly with on terms. So Fiona is, happy to see you. Vicente, it's been too long. I thought you were avoiding us, perhaps.
Oh, I would never avoid you.
Well, what's been keeping you?
Just time. Time is weird, moving back and forth between worlds. It's easy to lose track.
Well, true enough. Time is weird. Would you care to make a wager on the outcomes?
Oh yeah. The blue team. They look like they're in good form today. Fewer of them have exploded in midair than the yellow team. So.
All right. And what shall we wager?
Oh, what do we wager? A secret.
Oh, how fascinating. All right. A secret it is. I'm not sure how to mechanically resolve the
I have no idea.
I guess what you're really trying to do is persuade her So I think that a persuade roll might encompass
Okay.
the results of the fights.
All right. Yeah. Oh, that's a 5.
Oh dear. All right, well, we'll come back
I
to you
am really bad
in
at
a moment
this.
and see how that goes. Um, let's see. Regis. The just thinking about what you're going to get for your miss. Um, I guess she's gonna. Well, okay, she can do it, but she's gonna take a debt for it.
Yeah.
The and she's gonna say. I mean, well, she's gonna take a debt and she wants something, so she wants to know all about what you're doing for the order.
Um, sure. I will definitely tell her. I'll tell her about the prison that I'm making for Maximus. Um, yeah. So I say that it's an anti-fey trap. Um, it you know, the order I think has been noticing that um the Fae have been kind of upsetting the balance. Um, I think it might have something to do with the fairy LSD ring that Maximus is investigating. Uh, yeah, you know the order. They don't like when anybody too wild tries to mess up how they've laid the way that things should be.
Very interesting. I'm sure there's a way I can use this information to my benefit. So, all right, I will provide the wards.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, I brought this. I don't know if you still. It's been a while. I don't know if you still like poetry, but I thought I found this little chat book that reminded me of you, so I give that to her.
All right. You know, I think she's going to finish. She's going to finish by saying, I said that there was nothing I could do to ward your house that you couldn't. I meant it, Regis. You've turned your back on your power, but you've convinced yourself that it's been taken away. You're still a powerful man. I wish you'd
I
recognize that.
thank you. Uh, I'll meditate on that.
You do that.
Uh, you may be right. I lost the arcane power, and so I tried to turn in towards the more mundane power. You know, the power of language, um, and you know, I did I loved being a wizard. It was also felt sort of like a trap. You know, like you couldn't do everything you wanted to do. You were always bound by responsibility, and I wanted, I was devastated when I lost my power, but I also was sort of excited after like a month or two. Like I had freedom, but there's not really any freedom. You're always bound by one obligation or the other.
It's true. All right. So I'm going to go back to Vicente.
Just
Oh, sorry.
real quick.
Yeah.
Um, do when do you mark a circle? Do you do it when you do a circle move or only a debt move?
It should say there should be a little pop-up note if you float over the names of the circle that tell you when to do it. So yeah, for making a circle move, that's one of them.
When I float
Making a
over-
circle move, trigger an intimacy move, cash in a debt, honor a debt, make a move that tells you to mark a circle.
Okay. I've got a question then.
Yes.
So that would be enough for an advance. Um,
Mhm.
would it be possible for me to use that advance to get the magic move from the wizard? Like he has a montage of reflecting on what Sophia says, and he gets his power back.
If that's open to you as an advance, then yeah, you can.
Oh, let me double check. You're right. I don't know if I can get that kind of
You can
advance
take a
yet.
move from another archetype as an advance. I'm just not
Yes.
sure what the wizard moves exactly are.
Yeah, let me double check. But I wanted to see if that idea worked with you narratively or
Yeah, that's a sick idea. Sorry, I'm just opening up the wizard playbook now to have a look. When you channel and collect your magics, roll with spirit. Go to your spank. Work because the wizard moves and the wizard spells are separate, which I think might be an
that
intentional bit of niche protection.
that makes sense. I might do Sanctum Sanctorum then. If that
Yeah,
sweet.
maybe have a look through some of the other power like playbooks and see if there's any
Oh,
that have a move that's closer to what you're imagining.
that's a
Because I
great
think it
idea.
does make sense in the fiction.
Thank you so much.
That's okay. Thanks. Okay. In the at the bounds of the arena, a heavy hand falls on your shoulder, and you immediately sense that Eva is right there behind you. He says, "Vicente, we've missed you in the Winter Court. It's good to see you."
Well, I was just having such a good time elsewhere.
I'm sure you were. I this is no place for pleasantries. You owe a debt to me, and sorry, I'm not sure where I got cut off there. I froze.
You owe a debt
But
to me.
He just announced. Yes. Okay, and I mean to claim it from you. A friend of yours in the mortal world, Regis, is resistant to the very reasonable requests that I've made of him. Convince him.
What was that request? What do you need from him?
I need a prison. There's no point concealing or beating around the bush. I need a prison, and I mean to have it.
A prison. Okay. I think Regis is capable of that. I'm sure I'll talk to him. Out of character, do
You'll see that he does.
I know that Regis is planning on making this?
I think that Regis
we
may
had a
have not been so
conversation at some
forthcoming
point.
about making a fake prison.
Yeah, I believe you knew via rumor that I was making a prison for Maximus. I don't know if I told you about making a prison for Ivar, but
Oh,
you definitely know that I'm capable and
I know
planning.
that you're making a prison. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So just to be clear, sorry, I just want to remind you, in case it's not clear, you do one of the moves you can make is to refuse to honor a debt if you are just going to say no. I guess that.
No, I'm going to say sure. I will. I'll do my best, and then obviously do something else. But
All right. I mean, at some point, I mean, that might mean that you're going to be refusing to honor the debt later rather than now.
Yeah, I think that is very likely to happen. But at the moment, I'm not refusing.
All right. I think because we're coming up on the hour, I was expecting Stephen like half an hour ago. I think because we're quite a small group and we're having pretty significant technical problems, it makes sense to just finish up here for this week.
Okay.
So if that's okay for both of you.
Definitely. Yeah, I
And
need time to figure out what the advancement would be. Sorry.
yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you can get your end of session move in.
Okay.
Which is, sorry, just shuffling my tabs. So at the end of every session, decide if you've grown closer to a circle you engage with this session, increase your score in that circle, and decrease your score in a different circle. Tell the MC how your relationship to these communities have changed because of the events of the story, and mark one of the two circles involved in these changes. Regis, you've engaged with Mortalis and Power, I would say. Do you want to increase your score with either of those circles?
I think he's thinking more about how he could have stayed in the game with Power. And he did say that he was going to do something for Mortalis and didn't do it. So I see Mortalis going down and Power going up.
Okay, cool. And Vicente, what about you? It's pretty much been all
I
wild,
think
but you did
I
have a moment with Night.
only. That's true. If I can count night as part of this, my interaction with Night for the brief time was definitely negative, and so I'll flip the two of them.
All right, sick. All right,
And
I'll
check
end the
Night. There we
recording.
go.
Cool. I'm just going to end the recording and we can have a quick Stars
Okay.
and Wishes.